The Chinese people are not going to see Rachel Zegler's Snow White. The Middle Kingdom is giving the middle finger to the Walt Disney Company. But it's not enough that they just don't go see it. Instead, state media from China is now mocking the Walt Disney Company and telling them where they've gone wrong. It's political correctness according to the Chi-Coms. Can't believe that Disney went even more far left than the Beijing bozos? Well, we've got the story, and now you'll know what's going on right now. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back yet again to the happiest channel here on YouTube, where we're tap dancing away on the head of Bob Iger as we tell you what's going on with his beloved China. And, well, they are having big trouble in China when it comes to Snow White. No support there whatsoever. And even the leadership inside the government of China, apparently through state media, mocking Disney over Rachel Zegler. We'll tell you all about it. Click the like button, and here we go. It turns out we're finding out why China is bailing on Snow White. And when you get this sort of critique out of the Middle Kingdom, you really know you've gone too far. From the Global Times, it's by Chen Z. Folks, we would recommend if you are a Breitbart subscriber that you go over there. The article for Breitbart is behind the paywall, and we, as a policy, don't put articles up behind a paywall because we know that you all are supposed to go over there and enjoy it. The Breitbart article is far superior. Not trying to be mean or derogatory towards Shin Z and the Global Times, but I'm just saying Breitbart's got this one nailed.
But you have to explain that Chen Z and Global Times is the Chi-Com party. That's an official organ of those guys over there. This is not just an idle critic. This is the government's position.
That's right, and so important. It says cultural disconnect hurts Snow White remake. And so you might read this appropriately, as Lou just indicated, as Beijing's message to Bob Iger. Here's what it says. Disney's live-action Snow White has underperformed at the Chinese mainland box office, accumulating an estimated 6.38 million yuan. That's only 880,000 USD during its opening weekend, according to Chinese ticketing platform Maoyan. The platform predicted that the film might only gross 11.79 million in Chinese currency, and the second largest film market in the world, far below even the underperforming Little Mermaid. And they're not happy, and they were not happy about Little Mermaid. They told Disney they were not happy, and now they're saying, guess what? You're even below that now. While some Chinese audiences have questioned the wisdom of adapting the 1937 classic, some have also said the storyline itself is actually decent. Now that's some serious praise. If it weren't for the highly controversial casting choices, the reception probably wouldn't have been this bad, wrote one user on Chinese film review platform Douban. However, box office data suggests that most Chinese audiences seem to disapprove of the adaptation. They expressed their understanding of the film's attempt to modernize the story by incorporating themes of female independence, but note the work itself is, quote, full of flaws, unquote. Beijing-based film critic Shi Wenzhou told the Global Times that Disney's live-action remakes are often heavily influenced by political correctness, which has affected not just Snow White, but also once caused backlash against The Little Mermaid. If we go down here a little bit, it says Cassian Rachel Zegler, a U.S. actress of Colombian descent, while progressive in terms of diversity, has triggered a cultural disconnect that Chinese moviegoers see as a deviation from the story's foundational imagery. The handling of the seven dwarfs is another issue. In other words, the Chi-Coms are claiming that Disney went too far. Good Lord, Disney, when you've gone so far that the Chi-Coms don't even like how far out in the left you are, you have really left the audience behind. Panel, this is bad. I'll get the numbers up internationally in just a moment, but first, you all take it away. Tell me what you think about the idea that the official press of China is now mocking the Walt Disney Company over how poorly their films.
Well, they lobbied very hard for John Cena to play the part, so you know.
Well, I mean, look, when the Chinese government is slamming you on revisionist history, you know, and changing things around. The last time I went into Reflections of China in Epcot, I'm pretty sure that like one of the lines was just like, Tiananmen Square, where nothing bad ever happened. But this is China's goal from the beginning And the reason why it sunk so much money into Hollywood and why Hollywood pandered to it, they didn't realize they were pandering to their own detriment, because now China has its own movie system that is run, of course, by the government, because everything is run by the government. And they now see it as a cultural victory when their movies beat big American blockbusters. That was why you got the Captain America Must Die movement when Captain America Brave New World came out. And you're just going to continue to see it. So it's just so funny because Disney pandered so hard to President Pooh Bear and you know, the entire CCP. And now, you know, they're basically laughing at them as they force their movies to bomb.
You know, this is an interesting aspect of all of this, and you know, Nizza 2, has supposedly made $2 billion in China and the U.S. I'm always a little suspicious about their box office reporting. Some of the numbers that have been for maybe more crucial items coming out of China, I've been a little suspicious of those numbers as well. I won't say for what, but around 2020. China is a big purveyor of propaganda, and whether or not they are better, they want to look like they're better. So I'm suspicious of them, but also they're very good at collectivist messaging, which we've seen on our side when you have a large corporation that a bunch of people have a vested interest for emotional or political reasons, trying to make them look like they're successful. Pixie dusters come to mind here specifically. You can see the kind of reasoning and the kind of weird and driving motivations that come out when they want, when those people want to be viewed as successful because they've chosen the right team. Imagine an entire country like that, right? That's the kind of thing that I see, that collectivist team sports kind of mentality. They seem to be very good at uniting on these things. And
Yes.
it's not like it would be much worse if there was actually a good movie to tempt them into breaking the line here.
Well, with all respect, Jonas, there is a big difference. The Pixie Dusters do it because they want the goodie bags and the invitations to previews. The Chinese do it because they don't want an invitation to the camp next to the park.
Right, they want to eat and live.
Oh boy. They want apple pies to be distributed among the population.
I don't know Chinese, but what is Chinese for carrot or stick?
It also needs to be said, guys, that Disney, this has to be humiliating to Bob Iger, at least very frustrating, because the amount of money they have spent trying to curry favor with the Chi-Coms. I mean, they have spent so much, and they've put their company at such risk with the Disney resorts that are in China now, whether it's Hong Kong or Shanghai. These are real problems for Disney. And so, you know, when you look at this animatronic that they're putting in over there, and they've done with Shanghai Disneyland, and it's nonstop how much they try to make the Chinese audiences and government like them. And they have not been successful. When they do something that China doesn't like, China essentially comes out with state media and mocks them. And they've earned it. They've earned it. But it's something to see that Disney doesn't seem to understand what it is that China wants them to do. And it's, by the way, it's a direct.
Also,
wokeism.
All the other American companies that were doing business there, because hey, it's a great big new market, have been pulling out like crazy for going on a year and a half. Disney hasn't caught up to that reality yet. So, you know, and they're still, we talked about when they announced the X billion dollars worth of park investment, how much was going overseas versus Orlando or LA. So you get what you pays for.
Ron, get in here. Your thoughts on this?
No, I was just going to say that, like, I'm slightly surprised because while I have not seen the new Snow White for myself yet, from what I've heard about it, it very much advocates, let's just say, the type of government that China has over its people. Maybe they just don't like it because it the version of it presented in the movie Snow White is more fair and equitable, if you will. The version, I mean, it's my understanding it's kind of like communistic. Like, so it starts with the beginning of it is, hey, here's my kingdom, and everything is properly and fairly, appropriately distributed among the populations. That's not really a democratic type of a society. It's a very communistic type of society. Maybe they were just upset that they got their version of it wrong. I don't know, but it's just funny. Like, you try to pander to one audience here in the United States, and it's so much the opposite of what they're trying to pander to when you go over to China. That those two groups, they would completely butt heads, right? If they were a small crowd. That's where I think Disney gets it wrong. It's like, if they could just create, good product that's good for everybody, maybe they wouldn't have to worry about it so much than trying to, cater to one group, cater to this group, cater to China when they're over there. I don't know what they're doing, but nothing they seem to be doing seems to be working out on either side. Maybe they'll get Lilo and Stitch right.
Ron, I told this story, I guess it was with Vash on the Sunday show, but it bears repeating. I will never forget. You remember Gorky Park? Story about a murder in Russia and a cop trying to do it. William Hurt played the part in the movie. In the book liner notes, it said, Inspector, I forget what his name is, quickly realizes that in the Soviet Union, murder is seen less as a crime and more as an infringement on a government monopoly. So there's the dichotomy for you right there, right?
Yep.
Oh, that was way better than my that was way better than my saying President Pooh Bear is Lucy, the People's Republic of China's approval is the football, and Bob Iger is Charlie Brown. I gotta say, this kind of just feels like they just kind of want to rub a little dirt in Bob's eye. Like, they know that Bob is sycophantically never going to stop kissing butt and trying to win approval. They're aware of it. They know they're the pretty girl who has the nerd of vying for their affections, and they had a chance to take a victory lap. Bob has pretty much given them all the money in the world, given them access to technology, and now they can make their own movies, and now they're just going to laugh at them whenever they can. It's
and one more thing, their own economy is in the toilet. So the disposable income of the average Chinese person to go to the parks or go to the movies is down like crazy. I was watching, why can't I think? Review Time, those two Australian guys who do all the great stuff. And they did a thing about why they love Hong Kong Disneyland. And a big part of it was, you can walk on everything. There's never any lines. And I'm going, yeah, because the Chinese can't afford to go anymore. That's why there's no lines. So,
well, that and transportation is not entirely free in China. So getting to go to Shanghai Disney is not something that every individual gets to do. But folks, we'll leave it there for right now. Suffice to say, though, that Disney has lost the Chi-Coms on The Little Mermaid and on Snow White. It turns out that going woke has made them broke in Beijing. And folks, let the credits roll for this one. Well, it is in the bank. We are done here. We're over and out. But before we go, there's one thing we must shout to you, and we do it in the kindest way possible. Folks, it would be such a pleasure if you could consider clicking the like button, share, subscribe, and that notification bell. Click it, stick it to the algorithms. You bet. Don't forget also, as you get ready to leave, drop a comment down below if you have not yet, for we would love to know what's on your mind. A mind is a terrible thing to waste, so waste not yours. Join a community dialogue. Folks, as we get ready to leave, we say to you, and we mean it, keep learning, keep growing, and no matter what the world might do or what your station might be, up or down, you keep having fun.
Jump into the water. Why listen to music made by people and companies who really don't like you? Check out Vacation Radio today and prepare for all new content made by the people behind the WDW Pro Channel. It's the place you need for all the music. That should be fun.
So I
Hundreds of songs, every genre you can imagine. Listen live on YouTube and enjoy a set list that's always sunny. It's Vacation Radio. What are you waiting for? Every WDW Pro video has a link to Vacation Radio in the video description. Try it out and subscribe today.